Welcome, beautiful and amazing people. How are you today on this Friday, May the 27th? Already June at our doorsteps. Let me see something again. Microsoft experience of LinkedIn, which is linked out. Let's see it there. Are you today? Yeah. Anyways, we're in on LinkedIn, linked out. And so I should be able to see the chat on my second monitor. Excuse my voice and this HD camera. It's horrible. I don't know what happened to my voice. Maybe I had some dreams yesterday. Anyway, today we have a very special program. It's something for me that I thought was not the subject after 22 some years of experience, practicing different ways of uncovering business agility, of uncovering management and what have you. But apparently there were some new podcasts lately that people are asking that question: what is the matrix? No, I'm kidding. What is agile? It's an adjective first, but we're going to go into the deep of it with some of my colleagues and myself. We already written some things. Most of my clients also received this nice cheat sheet that I'm going to show you very soon. But first off, I would like to remind you that we have only 6 spots left. You have to reserve for the Scrum beer. Yes, this Scrum Beer Montreal 17 edition, 17 sprint at the Crew Collective co-working. The cafe will be closed. We are going to provide you a base of wine and some beers if I find a sponsor of a microbrewery. So if any one of you around the Montreal area knows, every one of you know, I'm a bit tired today again. Let's be vulnerable. Let's get naked, well-dressed. Anyways, Scrum Beer, June the 17th. Blooper. Live blooper. It's live. So how could it be? The Scrum Beer is the 17th edition since November 2018. And we are going back in person at our Crew Collective place. It's bring your own beer or booze, whatever you want. You're welcome to bring also some snacks. As I said, the crew staff and my volunteer of the Scrum Alliance, Scrum Beer, will provide a base of wine and a base of beer if we found a microbrewery that's kind enough to sponsor us, because it's all on sponsorship. We are volunteers. And but bring your beer in case. And we're going to have some games and the course of the thing for those who would like to have a team. We are going to explain you a show and tell on our agreement-based agility on my upcoming book, Next Level Agility. So you're going to have a giant working agreement canvas from Scrum Inc. of Dr. Sutherland, and that I reprise, and that it's helping people making clarity, making decisions. So we're going to talk about it during the Scrum Beer on the June 16th. But you have to reserve. So for those on Rumble and YouTube that watching it live this Friday 27, but even after, and of course before June the 16th, the link are in the description to book with Even Bright. It's a free event. Your tips are welcome for la femme de ménage, the cleaning lady, the cleaning man, the crew staff that will help us with logistics. And you have to be on the guest list because a security guard or even the crew staff or my volunteer won't let you in. We have a maximum capacity. We're gonna mingle with other entrepreneurs, other co-workers that are at the crew. So it's gonna be very nice. It was nice yesterday night. Maybe that's why I'm losing my voice. Too many wine. I don't know. But it's a rendezvous. So be with us. I hope you'll be with us. And again, for the newbies here, I'd like to I'm so thankful to welcome again this week 22 new subscribers on YouTube, 6 new subscribers on Rumble. You're amazing. It seems that you like it because we keep growing and growing. Our message, whether it's bold and a bit draft. You seems to like it. There's not much activity on LinkedIn, though. I seems to be shadow banned on LinkedIn because for me it's linked out more and more. But what do you know? I don't care about social network. I care about people interaction, and especially be dedicated to the services of my client, because without client I won't have a business, right? And I'm really passionate to help them. So, but then again, if you're new to this channel on YouTube and Rumble, please subscribe and hit the bell. We are live every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time, North America. And to help us beat the algorithm, especially on YouTube, smash the like button. On Rumble, you could rumble the glove, and everyone will be happy to what we do at the Agile Lounge, especially with this Dare Real Agile audio podcast that also keep growing, and this Friday Live Agile, for the pleasure of sharing our passion of business agility and conscious leadership. Well, I think we awake and agilize with AF. AF, it's me, Alexandre Frédéric Joly, your coach AF. And don't laugh, because AF stands for Agility with Fun. Yes, we'd like to provide fun, inspired by Scott Adams, Dilbert engineer that thinks he know it all. It is not the case. So anyways, welcome to this 60 what now? 68 episode of the Friday Live Agile video, and the special episode of a Dare Real Agile podcast that you could download and run with us from the platform of your choice. You go to duckduckgo.com or google.com or bing.com. You enter Dare Real Agile, and here you have it. You will find me everywhere. If you're Spotify, subscribe on Spotify. You prefer Apple iTunes, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Google whatever. SoundCloud, we are syndicated everywhere. So you're welcome to run with us. And to my runner right now, you are going to run with some kind of very special. We're going to do a lecture today, but very special, as you know me. So an happy Friday to everyone who don't love the Venus Day. It's the day of Venus today. So we are going to talk about something that I've been written for years, and actually you're going to see this is what is Agile. I'm still an agnostic enterprise agility coach. So we're going to explain the 7 main things that you should know and a proposed definition of what is Agile. So without further ado, it's going to be kind of tutorial visual today. So let's share my screen and, of course, my feedback on LinkedIn. Hello, LinkedIn. I see about 3-4 people there. Say hello. Smash the like button if you like it. And I will take a look at the chat. Oh, and by the way, especially for my LinkedIn follower, I see maybe Francis, Karen, Emmanuel, Aubrey. Towards the end of the live session that I'm doing right now, explaining what is Agile, agnostic way, objectively, and what it really is, we are going to open, thank you for the like on LinkedIn, I'm going to open a Zoom call audio. Don't worry, your face won't be there, but if you'd like to jump, like in the clubhouse, with me towards the end of the hour, I'm going to open a Zoom. I'm going to put it in the link on LinkedIn, and you'll be able to call me and have a Q&A. It's easier, it's faster than the chat, I think. So your voice will be heard, but I won't show your face. All right? So if you like this kind of innovation of podcasting and LinkedIn Live, tell me in the comment right now. You could also put your question in the comment while I'm going through this, what is Agile objectively. But again, I will give you my intention of explaining you what it is, of what Jason Little, Mike Beadle, Mark Shed, we had collaborated to write and to gather together for you. And there's going to be also in the pilot comment of Rumble and YouTube, and in the comment probably at the end of the show of LinkedIn, the link to that blog. And to that blog, you have links that we're going to refer to, the source of things, the point of truth of thing, not the truth, but the point of truth of the thing. And we might watch also a video together at the beginning of this presentation. So let's go. let's embark on it. So let's see now if the user experience it's better. So Chrome tab, what is Agile? Let me see it. It seems to work, but again, Veronica at Melon App, what have you done? I don't want to be like this. I want to be, so let me change it again. Is it better now? I think it's better. Okay, so let's have it. What is Agile? And this was a document that I used to distribute, okay, to my client back in the day when I started doing it. The first iteration of this was written at the beginning of the Agile Lounge in 2016, 2017. And the video that I'm going to share, if it's working, was filmed at the member event of Scrum Alliance in Austin, Texas in 2019. So I won't go through the value at this point because I'm assuming that my audience right now know this. And anyways, you could watch it for yourself. Print Agile Value Manifesto. Oh, that's funny. Anyways, so the only big change that we agree in the community of modern Agile now, it's not anymore a working software over comprehensive documentation. It could be a working product, a working services, or solution. But this is, of course, you could find it at agilemanifesto.org. Still there, and we're going to talk about it a bit later. So what is Agile really? Here is an agnostic and objective introduction. Agile is a set of those 4 values plus 12 principles that support it. And those 12 principles we'll see later in this continuous evolving agility discovery, that they now inform patterns of how we do things more than framework and practice. You'll see. So those 4 values and 12 principles that give people, teams, and organization, so enterprise, a foundation that will help them to make decision, because this is what we manage. We don't manage people, we don't manage project, we don't manage product. We are managing decision. We are making decision about those services, solutions, software, people, interaction, and everything. It's all, and it's part of my concept that I'm building right now for my book, Next Level Agility, that we call agreement-based change. All right, so we have to agree with clarity. Everything needs to be clear and understandable to beat this bad VUCA of volatility and uncertainty. So anyways, so as we said, like here, to help them make decisions that result in better software development, products, and services delivery. You see, everything. But we mentioned those 3 pillars. Delivering high quality customer experience and satisfaction, as well as providing a better world of work with satisfying stakeholders and employee experience. Yes, that's what it means when we say people first in the Agile movement. This is what it means, based on experience, clarity of authorization, and agreement between all of those people. And Agile is no methodology nor a framework. Stop with it. In 2022, I cannot believe I'm still hearing engineer on top of it, and even project manager and even product manager talking about Agile as a methodology. Agile as an adjective enabling a mindset of flexibility might help you if you make decision with those 4 values and 12 principles to enable and inform practice that could come to a methodology of your own or a framework of your own, because a framework is more open, isn't it? Tell me in the comment below if I'm right or wrong. And again, I don't want to be right or wrong. I want to learn with you. I want to exchange with you different perspectives. So we hold these values and principles, however, will enable you to create what's best for organizing your work for a better and a smarter future. You see? So should we go to the beginning of Scrum, a talk with Jeff Sutherland? Let me try it. If it's not working, I won't spend too much time to it. And I'm going to put you the link for this about 10 minutes video. Great storytelling from Jeff Sutherland in Austin, Texas, at a Scrum Alliance gathering that we had back in the day. So let's try this.
I've done many technological innovations, and every one, in order to leapfrog to the next level, you have to study what's gone before, and that means reading.
Cool, it's working. So let's listen to Dr. Sutherland, and we'll get back with the what is
so we started. We got lucky because on paper 300 was written by Professor Takeuchi Nanaka and published in the Harvard Business Review, and it described how Toyota worked and Honda worked and 3M worked, small cross-functional teams working so closely together. It reminded Takeuchi Nanaka of the game of rugby, and they said, we're going to call this Scrum project management. And they described how the management at these lean companies set up the teams, how they worked with the teams. They were more like investors, you know. They gave the teams challenging goals, but then they asked the teams, what do you need to achieve the goal? And they would support the teams and let the teams be autonomous in figuring out how to achieve that. And I said, this is perfect. Exactly. It's not only exactly what we do, but it shows how the management needs to function. And we can lay that paper on forward management, and we can sell them the new process. So that became Scrum. It was all completed by the end of 1993, the formal definition. Our own team ran that formal definition beginning in January of 1994. So fast forward now, in 1995, Easel is acquired by BMark. I'm really concerned that we have this new, not only this new tooling that is selling pretty well, but this new process, I don't want to lose it. I want to get it out of the company. And so I called up Ken Schwaber, who was CEO of a project management software company. He wrote Gantt chart software, and he sold 300 three-ring bindings to all the big consultancies: IBM, Coopers & Lybrand, Ernst & Young, Anderson at that time, now Accenture. And I brought Ken into BMark, and I said, Ken, you know, that stuff you're selling, it doesn't work. You and I both know it. We'd worked together before. Take a look at this Scrum thing. It really works. So Ken decided to spend 2 weeks with the Scrum team, and at the end, he said, you're right. So I said, well, how will we do this together then? Because I want you to take this to industry. I'm just internal to the company. I'm effectively the CTO of the company. I don't have time to go out and do the marketing that's needed. Why doesn't your company take this? Let's make it open source and free. And so Ken, to his credit, within 3 months, sold off all his traditional business and focused totally on Scrum. So he was responsible for the industrial launch of Scrum. And as I was working inside companies, I'd have Ken working along beside me in the companies. And so now we had a lot more research projects to show not only the best approach to Scrum, the best patterns to use with Scrum, the best scaling techniques with Scrum. Ken and I did that all the way up to 2001 in the Agile Manifesto meeting. Ken and I were there, also Mike Beadle, the first CEO that took a whole organization to Scrum, and Kent Beck, and there were 4 founders of Extreme Programming there, and a bunch of well-known consultants who wrote books. And we debated for the whole first day about what we were doing, and Mike Beadle had read a lean book from hardware companies. And the lean hardware companies, 100 of them, had created this Agile consortium. They said, we're going to call ourselves Agile, which is lean, plus involving the customer in product creation. Okay, so we convinced by the end of the day, those 17 guys around the table, that what we're all doing together, let's call it Agile. And Arlene, who's sitting here, was the only woman at the Agile Manifesto meeting. She was not allowed in the meetings, but she was at all the social gatherings, all the meals, and she got to get the kind of the full dose of what was going on. She can share with you that. The next day, the Agile Manifesto itself was written during a coffee break. Mid-morning, we took a break. 9 of the people went out on the ski slope at Snowbird, and 8 of us stayed in the room. And the picture of the Agile Manifesto that's on the web is those 8 people in the room. And I'm the guy, and my back is kind of in the middle of the group. Martin Fowler is at the front board, on the whiteboard, and he said, you know, in the 10 minutes we have, I want to know, is there anything that we're going to be able to agree on before we leave this meeting? Because all we've been doing is arguing and debating, and we've only agreed on the word Agile. And he said, you know, can't we talk about what makes great teams? And then somebody said, well, it's all about the people. It's about the individuals and the interactions. And someone said, well, what about tools? And one of the other guys said, well, tools usually slow you down. But we probably don't want to ban them. There might be something useful. So Martin wrote on the board, why don't we say we value individuals and interactions over processes and tools? And then Ron Jeffrey said, and working software, we value over comprehensive documentation. It happened almost as fast as that. And then we got into a long discussion about how do you involve the customer in product creation, because that is the Agile consortium for the hardware lean companies, okay? Involving the customer, how does that work? So that came out, customer collaboration we value, or contract negotiation. And then one of the XP guys said, and responded to change over following a plan, because that's the XP mantra, okay? So it was over almost as fast as I've talked about it. The coffee break ended, the other 9 guys came back in, and I remember they looked at the board and nobody said anything. It was just one of those pregnant moments. And Ward Cunningham, probably the most technical guy in the group, was spending many tools that people use to this day, said, that's awesome. And nobody changed a word. Now, people have asked me since then, do you think 17 guys in the room could write the Agile Manifesto? And my response has been, no, that's too big a team. But the other 9 guys worked it over, and coming into the afternoon, we came up with the principles behind the Agile Manifesto, those 12 principles that kind of explain it a little bit. Okay? And so that was the origin of the Agile Manifesto. At that time, another thing people don't realize is that the only widely deployed processes were Scrum and XP at the time. Everything else was a dream in somebody's eye, right? And so really, Scrum and XP are the father and mother of Agile. And another thing people don't know, Jeff McKenna, the first Scrum coach, asked me one time, he said, what effect do you think small talk had on Agile? And I said, well, small talk is 100% responsible for Agile. The first Scrum team in ESO was a small talk team. The first XP team was a small talk team. Martin Fowler, who wrote it on the whiteboard, was a small talk guy. A lot of people don't understand that. That development in the small talk environment is what enabled the Agile Manifesto. And with the tools we have today, we've yet to get back to as good an environment as we still have with the small talk tools that are still selling. So there's a lot of interesting aspects of this that people don't get. Number one, self-organization doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. Number 2, Scrum means you're lean first, and the definition of lean is your process efficiency is 25% or more. Does anybody know the process efficiency of your Scrum team? You got one person, okay? For those of you who don't know, I can tell you, at GE, they have Lean Six Sigma guys that actually get the number, and it was 5% there. So you're probably down there at 5 or 10%. If you can get that process efficiency up over 25%, your production can double in a week. You see that happen in Indian teams. Just tell them what you need to do, and then boom, they do it. 3 days later, boom, they're done with a 2-week sprint. So there are these little pieces of things that are fundamental to Scrum that if everybody understood them better in the Agile community, we'd have even more awesome teams than we have today. So I probably used more than 15 minutes for that, right? So I should stop.
It's okay, I'll tackle you when it's time.
I'd like to open it up to questions, comments, and thoughts, because we have a lot of experience.
I miss you, Adrian, by the way.
Absolutely. Darn. I don't know where our AV guy is. Hopefully he will show up. However, if you're loud like me, you can just talk really loud about your question. Stand up.
Are you loud like her? Are you loud like her? Adrienne from Scrum Alliance, I miss you so much. I know you work somewhere else now. So here you have it, guys, from one of the co-signatory, one of the mentor of my mentor, Mike Beadle. So let's continue the journey into this, what is Agile? So we propose you the definition inspired actually by Mike Beadle, my mentor and co-signatory of the Agile Manifesto, as well as Mark Sheed, that I salute. Mark Sheed, a great Agile coach, a great consultant out there, and in Minneapolis, I'm not sure. So let's continue our journey, shall we? So the inspiration and definition was exactly just what I said from Mike Beadle and Mike Sheed, and the work of my coach at the Agile Lounge. And we just watched the great giving the history of Scrum and the Agile Manifesto, towards the Agile Manifesto, that was in Austin, Texas, in May 2019. So now, most of the great coach, the real coach, not the fake one till you make it, will agree here that there is 7 basic things Agilists and new adopters should know. And when we say new adopters here, that could be any stakeholders, not necessarily the coaches or consultant, but that could be also any leader, any team player, any worker that want to adopt that mindset that was well described by Jeff Shotton in the video before. So this is extracted, inspired, and I answer it with my team from an inspirational article from Jason Little from Toronto, Canada, that you could still see on LinkedIn. But you see, his post on LinkedIn was about 6 things everyone needs to know for Agile. And us, we said there is 7 basic things Agilists and new adopters should know on our at Agile. So it's adapted and enhanced by myself, the Agile Scrum Launcher, kind of my team of thinker that we love to do open space exactly. So it's on our blog, again, especially for the Rumble and YouTube watcher. Anytime on the Pine comment, you are going to have the link to that blog, or in the description also. And for LinkedIn, I'll see how it works. I might put it in the comment or into a forward comment of this live that is live right now on LinkedIn, and it's going to be stay there for a couple of times. So you're going to have the link to the blog, and from the blog you'll be able to click all of these point of truth, not the source, not the necessarily true, but here it is. So they are really, for us at the Agile Lounge, for business agility, some basic that you absolutely need to know about Agile. If you want to know and answer that question of what is Agile, contrary to Morpheus, I'm not Morpheus here telling you that Agile cannot be told what it is. You have to experience by yourself. Actually, it's kind of true, because a lot of people are complaining right now they're receiving too much theory, it's too academic and blah, blah, blah. So there's practical thing to it, and it's more than playing Lego and stuff like this. You could actually, you have to experiment, because remember, the base of Lean and Scrum that has inspired and informed the Agile Manifesto to agree upon a set of values and those principles that inform pattern and practices. It's about the empirical process. Okay, me, I dropped the control because I don't like control. I like to be free and open. But again, so there it is. So these are for us, not just me. Objectively, I promise you, here today is going to be an objective definition. So here you go. And we think this is the basic thing that you absolutely need to know about Agile. And by the way, we use this also to help talent acquisition and candidate experience people to recruit Scrum Master, Product Owner. This is our workshop of Talent Agile that's coming back for the summer, in person if you want to as well, in downtown Montreal and Manhattan, also in New York. So we are going to provide this a great workshop, one of our best seller, and we use these things to help you tailor some questions to actually hire the best and real Agile coach or Scrum Master if they adopt the Scrum framework and system. So if they don't know these 7 basic things, I don't buy like exactly in detail or by heart, but they need to have heard about it in a kind of holistic definition. If they don't know anything about these 7 things I'm going to present you right now in the next 15 minutes, that's mean they're not an Agile coach. They don't know shit about Agile. I'm sorry, but that's the thing. This is how you decipher real from fake in our series of Against Fakeness. All right? So, section 1, it's the sources. Of course, we are been through the Agile Manifesto with the 4 values and 12 principles and this great clip from Jeff Sutherland, so I won't go further. But again, you have the source here, agilemanifesto.org. Here you go. And you could have it, I think, in 86 or 90 languages, all right? You cannot sign anymore. I signed it back in the day in 2001. So you could find my name there. And this is it. So go read it, even read it in your own language, as I said. So read the history of why and how. So there's a link, very, very special link here. Oh, and don't skip the principle, okay? And also listen to Agile Uprising, the first ever podcast about Agile. Agile Uprising. They're coming to be boring right now because they just saying, yeah. Anyways, so that's why we're here with the Dare Real Agile and also Badass. But nevertheless, they interviewed 13 of the 17 manifesto signatory, including my great friend here, Mike Beatles. So go ahead, listen to it. This is amazing because you have exactly like you just heard with Jeff Sutherland, but for 45 minutes to an hour of their own experience, their own perspective on how they kind of came out with this outcome of the Agile Manifesto. Second of the sources, the Scrum Guide that exists only since about 2016, I remind you, okay? Because from 1993, 95, depending on who you want to believe, but for me it's 1993, and the commercialization with Ken Schreiber happened in 95, so that's why we did celebrate in 2020 the 25th anniversary, and they made the 3rd version of the Scrum Guide. But again, the Scrum Guide, everybody, whether it's Scrum Alliance or Scrum Org, the war is over. There's no war anymore. So Mr. Bucket, president of Scrum Alliance, stop spreading misinformation on LinkedIn and Medium that there's a war. There's, of course, an open debate in the Agile movement as a whole, because nobody agreed on this kind of objective reality. And I remind you, this is a Scrum Guide. It's not prescribed. It's hard and disruptive, okay, to put into action. However, it's very feasible, and the high-performance team are mostly using a Scrum-based system to make their framework happen. All right? So, here you have it. This is the source. This one. Not this one. Not Scrum.org. I don't know. Scrumguide.org. Agnostic, objective. You could download it in PDF. You could download it on your Kindle, whatever. But again, this is not a Bible. It's a description. And it should inspire you to create your own framework. This is how we teach it at the Agile Lounge with our agreement-based change. Number 3, the famous Kanban. I was hesitant to put it there because for me, a Kanban, even if you don't speak Japanese, you know enough, it simply means it's a board of things to follow the flow of work. But I discover in my learning process, in my continuous improvement, that this gentleman here, David Anderson, yes, he was the first to write about using Kanban and software. Okay, so that's the link to his book, Successful Evolutionary Change. You see, evolutionary change, evolution over transformation, motherfucker, for your business by David Anderson. Let's see if I click on it, if I could. It's my screen is still sharing. Just make a test here to show you the visual of that book. 30-second delay, huh? Sorry about that, guys, but this is empirical. Is it working? Yes, it's working. So you see it now. Kanban. So this is the book, paperback. It's $37 now, man. All right. So anyways. So now let me return. Will I return? Okay. So Kanban, it's a kind of, and there's no such thing, Scrum versus Kanban. Stop it. Don't lose your time, and don't make me make a podcast about it. Man, guys. Batman versus Superman. Ooh, come on. Anyways. Number 4, DevOps. Of course, DevOps. So if Scrum and XP, according to Dr. Schutterman, is the father and mother of the Agile Manifesto, not Agile, well, DevOps is the grandson. And DevOps, it's the son of Agile and Lean. Yes. And the best thing to see here is Mike Lukidis. I love it. This is how I started my journey of learning DevOps at the source. This is the source. So infrastructure as a code. What is DevOps? And we also have a cheat sheet. And by the way, we are going to rebrand our website with a lot of material for you to download for free. We give back to the community. So what is DevOps? Our cheat sheet based on that amazing book that I really suggest you see. It's free on Kindle. Is it a paperback still? Oh, it's not a Kindle edition right now. Anyways, you could find it at O'Reilly. And it's amazing how Mike Lukidis put the idea of this Belgium guy into place to explain what is DevOps. The source for the DevOps part. And by the way, I know it's called What is Agile. DevOps has its own culture, but I mean, people are mixed up that we know. I told you, and I've got a screen show about this, that Scrum is not Agile. Even Schutterland just told us at the beginning of the show that it's not Agile. It was a lean system. So you have to understand this objective reality, the scientific base type of thing. But nevertheless, we think, from Jason Little, Mike Shed, myself, Jonathan Backley, any other people that has contributed to make this happen, this blog happen, that all of these terms or all of these source, the section 1, we are on section 1, the sources. It's part of the knowledge base, okay? Not affirming that Kanban is Agile or Scrum is Agile or DevOps is Agile, but these are the 4 source elements of being a proficient stakeholders that knows Agile and that knows how to also propose something else, being agnostic. All right. And here's my mentor in Chicago back in October 2017 explaining what is Agile. I love that picture that I took. Is it me or it was someone else? Maybe Michael Orman, I don't know. But anyways, so you see, key point thing explained by a physicist. Mike Beadle was also a physicist, a PhD in physics. So result based, you need your definition of done, little motherfucker. If you don't have your definition of done, you don't even dare to be Agile and to do Agile, to practice it, okay? Result based, outcome based. Stop waiting for people. Agile is allergic for waiting about others. Make it result-based, DOD, all at once. On all at once, though, that might necessitate a show to explain more clearly what it means, what Mike Beadle had in mind, because we kind of, him and I, would disagree on it all at once. But we could expand on it. Tell me in the comment below if you'd like to have a show on my argument with my mentor on the all at once part of what is Agile. Feedback based, of course, inspect and adapt. It's there. It's one of the principles. Customer pleasing, yes. customer-centric, customer-pleasing. Worker-pleasing, again, it's the entire experience of the people that make this happen, that make your product happen, that make your services of quality and everything. And here is self-demos, directed, managed, organized, selected. This too could be a subject of an individual podcast, because he had a very, very specific and narrow mind about it, but open to suggestion. But self-demos, meaning also that a demo should not be an ask from marketing or any stakeholders. The team should self-sufficiently decide when it's demoed. So that's why he put like directed, managed, organized, or selected. It's interactive incremental. Excuse me. Yeah, it's interactive, but it's iterative incremental, of course. And it's continuous learning and improving. So here you have it. So the basic. Sorry about this. So section 2 of what is Agile, according to our proposition, agnostic and objective proposition, the practices. Okay, that more and more that I'm learning with the Open Leadership Network, that patterns should come before the practices. But as I said, I wrote it and I college it with a group of people 5-6 years ago. So the practices is, here is the father of the Agile Manifesto with Ken Beck, Extreme Programming. So you could read the very first paper by Ken Beck. Here, let's click it again. Oh my God, okay, that changed. So Extreme Programming explained by Ken Beck, the founder of it. So we have test-driven development as well. So you have the source here. Here's your library if you need to know more, if you want to be an adept of this fasting. If you talk about velocity, motherfucker, okay, all the VPs out there, stop it. Velocity is the thing of a team, and the team should decide and should know their velocity to make great sizing and estimation to tell you how long it could take. But stop putting it as, man, you bored me with that. I cannot believe that still in 2022, I've got serious MBAs, VPs, and public and private sector having as the first measure of success for their delivery or team velocity. Stop it. Or do the real thing here with Ken Beck. Read it, especially the C3 project. Let's click on it if it's still available. The C3 project by Martin Fowler. That was allegedly in the early 2000 or 1995. So it's a great article to read here on the blog of Martin Fowler. Again, he's one of the co-signatory, one of the most great guy that I met, and I love it. He's nice. So here are your source of, and the section 2 is the practices, things that actually work, things that team try and experiment and they deliver. In this case, is mostly about software. And of course, any real, true, great Agile coach, they need to know the practice of Agile testing. So you could read Brian Marek original post here. Is it still there? Yes. And you see, this is very old, but it's still relevant today. And probably you could find some more updated stuff. But we are talking about the source, objective source, the first one who explore into it. So here you have it, Agile testing, directions, test, and example. Great read. It was a kind of a forum back in the day. So the credit goes also to Ward Cunningham and others. So it's great work collaboration of Tinker with Robert Frost. But again, it was the original Brian Marek. And also Lisa Crispin, awesome refresher here. And you see, yes, there's women in Agile. And there were more women than the 1950s and 60s in computer programming than men. In the United States, at least. And we have data to prove it. So Lisa Crispin, Agile testing with Lisa Crispin, building quality in together. It's an awesome article. This part of the source of practices, especially for the QA people out there, you're going to love it. That's going to help you also influence the team and your product owner of building proper acceptance criteria, because it's the back reverse. If you don't have a great definition of done, with acceptance criteria, how do you do your test plan? How do you self-test? How do you self-demos? Okay, so here you have it. Okay, it's about team support. It's all about the team. And section 3, the thinker and the sparkers. So we have, actually, Jason and I, we believe that you should read everything Jerry Weinberg wrote. And we put here because there's so many stuff. You could have a lot of summer vacation on your hammock at the beach, because Gerald Marvin Weinberg, that passed away in 2018 actually, after we wrote it. Scientific again, computer science. So as I said, Agile is a lot influenced by science, pure science, and sports emulation. So that's the way. That's why you have all of those funny names of Scrum. Scrum is not a Scrum for the press. It's Scrum from the who you call it, the rugby team. But anyways, Gerald Weinberg have a lot of books, as you could see on your screen here. So we put the link in our blog to his Wikipedia page, because from there you could actually start your research and see his university paper. And he's part of many national libraries. Can you imagine that? Spain, France, Germany, United States, Japan, Czech Republic, Korea, Netherlands, Poland, Sweden. So, I mean, it's so inspirational. It's not necessarily always his publication. It's not just book, it's publication also. It's scientific publication. It's really more software stuff, we understand, but nevertheless, when you understand this, because let's be true, with this fourth industrial revolution, with this digitalization of our world, it's programmer and it's technical people that will form 75% of your team member. So if you don't understand what they're going through as engineer and software developers, how could you be a great Scrum Master facilitating those processes, facilitating the adoption of this mindset? If you work in change management and you don't even pay attention to read, for instance, this "Are you lights on?" how to figure out what the problem really is. Okay, that Mr. Weinberg wrote with Donald Siegels, one of the father of enterprise change management. So it's all connected again. But we are offering you today, with that blog and this live show, on what is Agile, the sources of the first thinkers and sparkers that were in computer science, that were in change management, that was in management 2.0 right now, and now we enter in the management 3.0. Okay, we don't stop progress. But I think it's important that you know where it's come from, to see the evolution, and how you could also yourself contribute and show up in the world with new ideas. We welcome it. And let's close this. I don't see a lot of people, though, to open the Zoom. You let me know in the comment right now if you'd like me to open the Zoom to have interaction and conversation together. For those who are watching live, of course, on this May 27, because this will be on my podcast also. So my jogger out there, sorry about that. But if you want to see me, my guests, and also be interactive with me, every Friday I'm live at 12 noon Eastern, North America. So you're more than welcome to go subscribe to my YouTube and Rumble video channel. So I'd like to complete this what is Agile sources and artifact and practice with an honorable mention. I really encourage you to look up the manifesto authors, because a lot of people talk about the Agile manifesto and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But there's people behind it. There's real people. 3 of them that I know. One of them, and the first one, because it's alphabetic order, it's Michael Beadle. He was the founder and CEO of eArchitect In. He was an enterprise architect. He was a physicist. I mean, I love him and I miss him so much, but there's our people behind that. People will talk to you about the SDM consortium since 1997. But that was Mr. Harry van Bennekom, the Dutch, and the Agile Manifesto, the Dutch in Utah. Okay? And all of these implementation of making and the Benelux the best way. So that's why right now you see on Medium and LinkedIn the children of Mr. van Bennekom. That's why in Europe, the more advanced probably of business agility are people from the Netherlands or Denmark and even Luxembourg. Okay, Alistair Cockburn, yes, human and technology, exactly. Learn about the people behind all of these concept, ideas, mindset. learn about them, and you have links to their stuff that they were co-creating. What about Mr. Ward Cunningham? As Jeff said, probably one of the most technical people at the table of the 17 co-creator. Cunningham and Cunningham Inc. Pattern language program conference. Can you imagine that? Martin Fowler, the small talk guy, the chief scientist at TrueWorks. Was he the co-creator of UML Distilled? I'm not sure, but he did refactoring a lot of code. But anyways, Jim Highsmith, yeah, primary developer of the adaptive software development, the ASD. So when people talk about ASD, here, meet his father, Jim Highsmith. Oopsla. Okay, and he was also a technical journalist. And probably the most conservative of the bunch, but still. Oh, Andrew Hahn, no more link. Why that? Why is that? Anyway, Andrew Hahn is a partner at the Pragmatic Programmers, and he best-selling book, The Pragmatic Programmer, From Journeyman to Masters. Exactly. Ron Jeffries. Yes, Ron Jeffries. Nice gentleman, but now I think when you look at his Twitter, no, stop it. Anyways, yes, it's the proprietor of X Programming, Object Mentor, It's kind of old-fashioned a little bit, but anyways. But you have to know them. John Kern, of course. Brian Merrick, that we talked earlier also, that you should read some of his book. Robert C. Martin. Yes, Agile Montreal. Huh? You like him. You invite him often. And I think you have an affair with Quebec City also. I don't know, but very nice gentleman. He was a great friend of both Mike and Jeff. Actually, I think that's the three that were discussing on the forum back in the day that leads to this meeting in Utah in 2001. Very nice guy, and I think some people mentioned that Robert C. Martin is kind of the influencer or co-founder of that discipline Agile. I'm not too sure about it. It's not written there though, but we might do some research about it. I don't know. But of course, he was very about explaining principles, patterns, and practice within the Agile software development, the ASD. Okay, and from object-oriented C# to a more soft pattern language of design tree, they used to call it, I think. Ken Schraber, of course, my man, the bald and bold man. That's the one who taught me to speak out and cry validation. I would love to have him on my show. I don't know if it's possible. I will ask some of my friends if it's been a long time I didn't see Ken. We see often Jeff, but Ken and Jeff Sutherland, of course, the one probably the most vocal around right now. In the Scrum area at least. And of course, Dave Thomas, Uncle Thomas, another pragmatic programmer. So here you have it, guys. This is the source. We don't say it's the truth, but actually, these are the co-founder. These are the first, to bring you Agile. And this is why Agile, 22 years later, it's so popular, because those people existed, because those people were having beef, they were having war, they were having argument. Okay? So I really invite you to discover all of this. The link of that blog that related to all the links of the source material of the original, the OG, will be available on the pinned comment of YouTube and Rumble, and the comment of the reshare of my video live on LinkedIn. And for those who are listening to this on the Dare Real Agile Podcast, wherever you are, that you grab in your pocket, and the description of the podcast, the link also will be available. Or you could go to agilelounge.com. Actually, let me make it, for those watching, sorry for my audio podcaster, but for those watching, let me put it, I don't have it anymore. What's that? Okay, yeah, go to here. Go to agile-lounge.com for more. And by the way, this summer I'm going to work with an amazing team of designer and developer to revamp my website for the 6 years anniversary of the Agile Lounge brand, where we continue to awake and agilize your mindset, change one thing and you change everything. So, is there people who want to jump on a Zoom call very quick for the last 10 minutes? I don't see people anymore on LinkedIn. Please ping me right now. Otherwise, we'll end the show. Thank you, Albany Pio, a senior software developer, for the like on LinkedIn. Thank you for the like on YouTube and the glove on Rumble. So if there's nobody who wants to have a chat with me, I won't open the Zoom. But rest assured that moving onward, let me see my agenda here. Yeah, moving onward, next to come for this summer, we're going to do things like this, I think, for the live show. Some of them will end up into the audio podcast, Dare Real Agile. And we might have guests to record some conversation, meaningful agile conversation. And we have a lot of proposed value lists and subject to do with you. But summer, we're going to take it more easy. But I'm going to be there like a Scrum Scout guy every Friday. Oh, there's someone in the chat here. Sorry about that. Hi there, Team History. Are you a subscriber of the Agile Lounge Business Agility channel? Anyway, thanks for passing by, and subscribe and hit the bell like anyone else that's passing here too, because we are live, as I said, every Friday at 12 noon Eastern time. So smash the like button, subscribe and hit the bell. Welcome to every new subscriber. We have about 20 new subscribers a week. It's amazing. We're almost 550 now on YouTube, only 12-ish on Rumble. And I'd like to move next year completely on Rumble. I kind of have some issue with YouTube, even if we are a business agility channel, even if we are kind of agnostic. And if anyone out there would like to share this video to enlighten people about what is Agile objectively, agnostically, with the source material that we share, that will be, again, I said, I'm going to put the link everywhere for you to go through it and have this documentation in this virtual library, a very meaningful thing. So on that, my beautiful and amazing people, remember, you are a beautiful person, you are a powerful person, and you are free to be whoever you wanted to be and to do whatever you want, and mutual respect of one another. Coach AF is signing off, and I wish you an amazing weekend. Cheers.